Seeking wisdom is akin to choosing a less obvious path, yet one that's incredibly valuable. Picture life's experiences as seeds we plant in secret, to germinate and bloom away from the limelight. The Stoics, sages of classical thought, had a unique way of viewing this. They advised us to be more reserved, to cherish inner growth without the need to broadcast every achievement or misstep. Every laugh and every tear, each victory and failure are pieces of our personal journey. If we impulsively reveal all, we may miss the chance to fully savor these moments. Like a plant that needs peace to grow, our moments of evolution also require their sacred space, that corner for introspection, where we contemplate our actions and choose our next steps wisely. Keeping something to oneself is not hiding, it's preserving. True growth comes from the delicate balance between what we share and what we keep in the depths of our essence. In an era seemingly thirsty for exposure, finding value in what's kept silent can be a real challenge. In this discussion, we'll delve into 11 topics that, in my view, are best kept to ourselves. Each has its importance and reason for being, so stay tuned until the end to understand why. 1D. Consider the metaphor of diving into the tranquil and profound darkness of one's soul. For the Stoics, the journey toward wisdom and virtue was comparable to this introspective immersion. They believed that true fulfillment lay not in the display of external successes, but in the internal dive and relentless personal development. Challenges were faced not on illuminated stages, but in the silent recess of the inner self. When they advised retaining tales of triumphs, it was to inspire deep reflection. The ego and the desire for approval, when overly nourished, can erect barriers between us and genuine moral excellence. The obsession with recognition can chain us to pride, trapping us in an unending quest for fleeting acclaim, a path often paved with disappointments. Here's a valuable lesson from the Stoics. The true achievement is not the one displayed for admiration, but the one that, in silence, transforms society by fostering elevated values like justice, empathy, and prudence. For these ancient philosophers, true wealth was not amassed in tangible treasures, but in the depths of a calm and balanced spirit. They encouraged us to embrace both victories and defeats with serenity, peacefully accepting life's decrees. They invited us to recognize that the choreography of existence is often composed of rhythms beyond our control. In the quietude of this understanding lies the conscious choice to commit to authentic greatness. The Stoics taught us that true nobility lies in living honorably and in dedication to the common good, leaving us a legacy that asserts humility, authenticity, and the constant endeavor in the pursuit of knowledge as the real foundations of a full and meaningful life. 2. In the Stoic journey toward wisdom and righteousness, each step is laden with depth. Detours and obstacles were not seen merely as setbacks. They were regarded as sculptors of the spirit, forgers of character, and revealers of the essence of greatness. It wasn't the apparent success that mattered, but rather the personal battles, often hidden, that forged an individual's resilience. So if such trials are so valuable, why did the Stoics advocate discretion in the face of insurmountable challenges? The key to this question lies in the shrewdness of their understanding of human nature. They considered that egocentrism and vanity could cloud perception, obscuring the view to the essence of virtue. The obsession with applause and validation could in fact be a veil hiding true capabilities. The Stoics did not exalt ostentatious achievements. Instead, they valued the genuine glory found in actions that elevate humanity, grounded in principles like justice, benevolence, and discernment. For them, authentic wealth was not found in the splendor of gold, but in the luminosity of an ethical nature and a serene conscience. Embracing one's fate was a key piece in this understanding. In the face of adversity, the Stoics were not disheartened. On the contrary, they received both triumph and failure with serenity, aware that existence is a tapestry of events often beyond our control. 3. Let's ponder the silent virtue, akin to a candle that without fanfare dispels the darkness of a room. Its light is shy and modest, yet it spreads warmth and illumination everywhere. This was the Stoic view of benevolence, comparable to the gentle glow of a flame. They maintained that true generosity did not require announcements in marketplaces or acclamations from the peaks. It should be, by nature, a pure and discreet act, driven only by the desire to promote good, free from expectations of recognition or reward. How does this notion resonate as a counterpoint to the contemporary culture of self-aggrandizement? The answer lies in a profound understanding the Stoics had of the temptation to turn kindness into a spectacle. When we boast of each benevolent gesture, we risk craving the fleeting warmth of applause instead of seeking the inner fulfillment that springs from generosity. Hiding our benevolent acts under the veil of anonymity grants us a moment of sacred introspection, a pause for deep connection with our being, an interlude to ponder the purity of our intentions. This secret introspective analysis becomes a catalyst for personal growth. At the heart of Stoic doctrine is the conviction that true kindness does not yearn for acclaim. It reveals itself in compassionate, serene, and truthful acts. Such enduring wisdom envelops us in its substance and reminds us of a fundamental principle. Often, the most grandiose act of kindness is the one rendered without any expectation of return. 4. Have you ever been caught in a cascade of emotions, where each strand represents a painful memory, a grudge that stubbornly persists in your heart? The timeless philosophy of Stoicism calls us to ponder the hidden burden of bitterness. For the wise men of antiquity, the accumulation of resentments was like ballast that retains the soul, preventing it from sailing freely through the streams of existence. But imagine instead choosing a less trodden path, guided by forgiveness and understanding, our loyal shields. Through this ancient prism, the exaltation of virtue and self-discipline emerges. Ask yourself, have you felt the weight of carrying shackles for too long? Have you experienced the fatigue, the wear, the bitterness it engenders? Such weight is an invisible chain that binds us, restricting our freedom and inner harmony. Resentment often springs from misunderstanding, ensnaring us in a vortex of discontent. The Stoics encouraged us to explore the roots of others' actions, to understand rather than condemn. To forgive, then, transcends generosity. It is wisdom that deciphers the enigmas of the human condition, freeing us from the shackles of negativism. Anger and spite are insidious poisons, embers that, if nurtured, devour our peace and emotional balance. In contrast, by choosing forgiveness and understanding as our guides, we reach an oasis of calm and stillness. Thus, under the aegis of Stoic thought, we remember a timeless truth. Forgiveness is the banner of our liberation. It is a beacon that guides us through the storms of the soul and leads us to the haven of tranquil harbor. By embracing this maxim, we learn that sometimes true power is manifested in the ability to release the moorings, to free ourselves from the manacles of the past and sail towards a future of understanding and tranquility. 5. Protect your most intimate desires. Imagine a unique and delicate seed resting in your palm, symbolizing your most secret ambitions and goals. How would you shield it from adversities that could prevent it from flourishing? The ancestral wisdom of the Stoics guides us in this process. For them, our ideals and dreams are like precious seeds, which must be sown and nurtured in the fertile soil of our innermost being, shielded from the erosion caused by external judgments and mockery. How many dreams have been suffocated by the weight of doubt or twisted by scorn? In the Stoic ethos, emotional and intellectual independence is considered a rare jewel. True knowledge and personal fulfillment are not trophies to be displayed, but a secret wellspring from which perseverance is drawn. The temporary approval of others is superfluous when the true substance and intention lie in the depths of our being. The most discreet yet eloquent virtue endorsed by the Stoics is the fine line separating legitimate ambition from vanity. To be silent about our grand plans does not denote weakness, but is an intentional choice to advance with modesty, steering clear of the arrogance that often eclipses. The Stoic doctrine urges us to realize that there is no need to broadcast our endeavors to the winds. Instead, we must shelter them, nurture them, and watch them bloom in their serene and magnificent splendor. This caution is an invitation to rediscover the strength that dwells in our essence and to accept that sometimes the most treasured riches are those we preserve solely for ourselves. Take charge of your life with the wisdom of history's greatest philosophers. Stoicism in the 21st century is your guide to resilience, well-being, and prosperity. Turn challenges into triumphs, stress into strength, uncertainty into clarity. Click now on the link in the pinned comment and begin your Stoic journey to a life of success and fulfillment. Get your ebook today. 6. Refrain from announcing your future intentions. Think of a chess player who quietly maneuvers their pieces while their opponents can only speculate about their plans. This is the Stoic conduct. The Stoics understood that by disclosing each step of their journey, they would be at the mercy of the unpredictable winds of public opinion, often laden with criticism, envy, or sabotage. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies precious self-reliance. Why seek the fleeting praise of the public when true potency resides on the inner stage of thought? By preserving their personal tactics, the Stoics were not merely hiding their plans, but solidifying an internal core of self-confidence, impervious to the currents of others' opinions. This stance is reminiscent of humility, a discreet yet significant attribute that the Stoics valued. Announcing ambitious plans can be perceived as an act of arrogance, a declaration of supposed superiority. By choosing discretion, they found the balance between aspiration and humility, ensuring determined yet unostentatious steps. Thus, Stoic wisdom offers us insight into the importance of confidentiality. It teaches us that safeguarding our purposes transcends tactics. It is a way of cultivating inner strength, respecting self-sufficiency, and proceeding modestly in a world where external recognition is overvalued. The Stoics encourage us to seek internal guidance, to follow our path with confidence and discernment. If you've made it this far, please leave a comment with "Seeking Wisdom." It will show me that you are truly resilient, as few make it to this point. 7. Restrain from divulging your hesitations and insecurities. Imagine being lost in a vast forest where each trunk represents a doubt and every shadow casts an uncertainty. Yet instead of proclaiming your indecision to the world, you choose tranquil meditation, seeking answers in the inner sanctuary of your soul. This is the essence of the Stoic stance. Within Stoic principles, it's understood that confidence is an internal light, a silent guide through life's crossings, not a banner to publicly flaunt. To expose uncertainties to the world is like leaving a lighthouse unprotected in the assault of a storm, threatening to extinguish its flame. It is through personal strengthening that we find the balance to not be swayed by the opinions of others. Humility thus becomes not just a visible virtue, but a shield for the soul. To reveal our doubts without consideration can strip the soul of its honor and strength. There is a time and an interlocutor appropriate for sharing our vulnerabilities. While many seek answers in external turmoil, the Stoics understand the value of silence and reflection. It is in the quiet recess of our conscience that the solutions to our most complex questions often echo, Keeping some uncertainties allows for deeper examination and a closer bond with our true nature. In summary, Stoic philosophy teaches us that it's not necessary to announce our doubts to the world. By valuing silence, discretion, and introspection, we chart a secure course through the jungle of uncertainties, guided by the internal light of our self-confidence and discernment. This is the legacy of tranquil introspection and self-assurance that the Stoics offer us. 8. Avoid spreading criticism. Criticism is akin to throwing stones in a tranquil lake, disturbing its peace with unnecessary ripples. The Stoics understood that indulging in judgment and reproach diverted attention from their own self-reflection, consuming energy that could be better spent on controllable aspects of their lives. By choosing not to judge, the Stoics practiced understanding and mercy, recognizing that each individual carries a microcosm of struggles and triumphs, joys and sorrows. To criticize others would be to ignore the profound complexity inherent to human nature. They also realized that criticisms, far from being constructive, often raised barriers where bridges were necessary. In the quest for serenity and balance, the Stoics discovered that harsh words and rash judgments fueled conflict instead of promoting peace. Stoic philosophy offers us a valuable lesson: to be healers of our expressions and ideas. Instead of highlighting others' flaws, Stoic wisdom encourages us to look inward in search of self-development and moral rectitude. In an environment where it is common to point out faults, the Stoic encourages us to choose understanding, acceptance, and kindness, casting stones of compassion into the vast lake of humanity and watching the waves of positivity that form. It's a call to be promoters of beneficial impact, choosing empathy and kindness over judgment and division. 9. Keep your moments of seclusion to yourself. In a society that incessantly seeks to fill every moment with activities and social connections, the Stoics found strength in the serenity of isolation. For them, solitude was not an abyss to be avoided, but a sacred refuge for the spirit, where ideas could flow without the constraints of external judgment. Far from being an escape, solitude was a state embraced with enthusiasm. During periods of solitude, they didn't see themselves as isolated beings, but as travelers exploring a vast inner cosmos of reflections and revelations. It was in silence that they found clarity and inspiration, free from the distortions caused by the cacophony of the surrounding world. In today's reality, marked by the incessant pursuit of recognition on digital platforms, Stoic thought challenges us to reconsider this quest. By distancing ourselves from the obsession with constant visibility, we open a sacred space for self-knowledge and introspection. In silence, in seclusion, we encounter the symphony of our most authentic self, a harmony that does not need to be broadcasted, but experienced in its most genuine form. The value of introspection teaches us that sometimes the greatest growth occurs in quietude, away from public scrutiny. Stoic wisdom encourages us to find contentment and richness in our own company, to understand that true satisfaction can be found in silent reflection, not in the fleeting applause of the masses. By valuing our solitude, not as a sign of rejection, but as a conscious choice, we can truly appreciate the transformative power of solitude. 10. Avoid publicizing unovercome failures. Errors are a constant in human experience. We all err and fail at some point. However, the true essence of an individual unfolds in how they handle these failures. The Stoics, in their wisdom, saw these episodes not as causes for despair, but as opportunities for enlightenment and maturation. In our current context, there's a tendency to mask imperfections and only highlight successes. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to consider an alternative perspective, to embrace mistakes not as manifestations of weakness, but as directions for self-development. The Stoic decision to keep unassimilated lessons private was not an escape from responsibilities, but a choice for deeper, personal introspection. Each era was not a full stop, but a starting point, an invitation to begin a new chapter in the relentless journey in search of virtue and knowledge. Just as an artist integrates a lapse into their art, the Stoics saw in failure a pillar for personal evolution. In an age dominated by the need to expose every aspect of life, the Stoic approach restores the importance of self-examination and the nobility of withdrawal. This vision teaches us to honor our internal journeys and to value quietude in building a solid character. Instead of proclaiming every setback, there is merit in reflecting and turning each obstacle into a step for self-improvement. Thus, we recognize that resilience and growth often occur away from others' eyes, in the silence of our contemplation and the privacy of our perseverance. 11. Keep your most intimate intentions to yourself. Recognizing the power of keeping certain plans away from the spotlight is an ancient wisdom. The Stoic philosophers, with their insight, remind us that prudence is a sign of strength, not weakness. For them, each aspiration was comparable to a fragile seed that demanded careful attention and protection. By choosing not to disclose their projects, they ensured a conducive environment for these plans to blossom, sheltered from the whirlwinds of doubt, jealousy, or external evaluation. In contemporary times, marked by excessive transparency, where every action is recorded and broadcasted, Stoic teaching suggests a reflection on the management of our goals. It teaches us that authentic strength often lies in things not revealed, not because we are reticent, but because we recognize the need to nurture our dearest visions in a safe haven. Stoic silence didn't mean absence, but a repository of potential, a field of possibilities and hope. It was the conducive ground where ideals could evolve without interruption. In this sense, amid the tumult of the contemporary world, we can find inspiration in this ancient philosophy. By safeguarding our most sacred designs, we allow them to develop organically, away from prying eyes. And by proceeding in this manner, perhaps we discover the magic, not in what we proclaim to the four winds, but in what we accomplish in silence, at the core of our persistence. Thus we might consider a return to the roots of Stoic wisdom, applying its valuation of discretion in our daily lives. By preserving our most significant intentions, we open space for introspection and concentration to blossom, establishing fertile ground for success. The power of silence, therefore, transcends the absence of words. It manifests in the fullness of actions that speak louder, cultivated in the serenity of our inner world, and revealed only when they reach maturity. In this process, respect for time and the natural development of our aspirations becomes a journey of self-knowledge and fulfillment. Thank you for watching. Your support is essential for us to continue sharing knowledge and inspiration with everyone. If you have any suggestions for future video content, please leave them in the comments. We value your opinion, and it guides us in our mission to bring increasingly rich and impactful content. Remember to check the pinned comment. Stay with the Creator.